crux of that was through the power of unity. We'll never get anything accomplished. We'll never be able to stand together if we are divided. And oftentimes we're divided because of how we think about ourselves and how we see each other. And oftentimes how we see each other is a perception of how we view ourselves. Who said that your hair was too kinky or too nappy? The only naps are the ones in your mind. Who said that your nose was too big? No, you're blessed to be able to breathe God's pristine, clear air. Who said that your skin was too dark or too light? No, you were made just right. Being black, being Hispanic, being of any other ethnic origin is not an indictment. It's really a pronouncement of the greatness that you have on the inside of you. And when we begin to love ourselves and see our worth and know our value, that's how we can begin to love other people and stand up for what is right. So many of us, oftentimes, we thirsty for a Louis Vuitton bag. You know, we thirsty to just get a whole bunch of money. We thirsty for some friends. We thirsty. Some of y'all thirsty for likes. I hope not. Thirsty for followers when you ought to be thirsty to be a leader. And we got people, our brothers and sisters who are in Flint, Michigan, right? So many of our brothers and sisters who are not thirsty for any of these material amenities. They are thirsty for righteousness. They are thirsty for justice. How can we play an active role in that? We have to get involved because Dr. King suggested that tomorrow is now today. And what we have to do is be engaged, as he said, in the fierce urgency of writing my first book here on the campus of Eastern Michigan University. I said, well, what story am I going to write at 23? I wrote about my life in times as a survivor of stage 4 cancer. At the age of 15, I was afflicted with NHL. I thought that was National Hockey League. I said, I'm getting ready to be the youngest owner of a National Hockey League team, but it was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. At the age of 15, lost all my hair. Y'all see these waves today? At least I'm trying to get them back. Lost my self-confidence, my self-esteem. My own biological father never even visited me one day in the hospital. To people who you think are praying for you, but literally praying on you. And faced with my own demise, I had to place my faith in God. You already know about the preacher. I had to place my faith in God and understand that the first 3 letters in cancer is what, y'all? Can. You can overcome. You can survive. And from a lady who told me as a guidance counselor I'll never go to college, and now being a professor at college, to tell me I'll never go to college one time, to now graduating from college 3 times, to where I earned a PhD, but for her it stood for a play-aided degree. God has really smiled on me, and I believe it's my responsibility, as Dr. George Fraser says, once you learn and earn, then you must return back to your community. W.E.B. Du Bois talked about the talented tenant, and that's all of you who are here. The talented tenant have to invest back into the 90 of society because you got to share your story. And oftentimes we allow the negative perception of the media to share our story and understand, we have to understand that black men, black women, people who are minorities are not thugs, we scholars. We're not predators and pariahs. We are providers and protectors. We are not people who are negative, but we are individuals who are positive, and we have to have that mindset to understand that we are not liabilities, but we are assets to our communities and our universities. And so especially during this time of the Dr. King celebration, I want you to think of what it is. What is my gift? That's one thing that we have to decide and understand for ourselves. What is my gift? What is my purpose? African proverbs suggest the 2 most important dates in your life, get this. Number 1, the day that you were born. But secondly, the day you realize why you were born. I know you get happy about your birthday. Some of us celebrate like it's a national holiday. Some of us celebrate it, you know, we get turned up. I'm not going to incriminate you by looking at you. Just look straight ahead. But it's not just that day that you were born. It's the day you realize why. What is your why for not just existing, but for living? I got to live with purpose. I have to live on purpose because I have a dynamic purpose. And when you begin to understand that reality and awaken the sleeping giant on the inside of you, that's when you can begin to propel and take your life to the next level. You ain't got to wait till you're my age to do it. I know I'm older than I'd like to say, I'm not going to tell you my age, but I'm older than Michael Jordan. I'm younger, I'm older than Michael B. Jordan, younger than Michael Jordan. Think about that. I'm older than Michael, I'm older than LeBron, younger than Denzel. But the fact of the matter is, when we begin to understand the reality and enormity of our purpose, that's when we can take our life to the next. The greatest among us is the one who can serve all of us. And when we can have that aspect to serve, that's when we can do something positive. And so with this book, really, I decided to, this is my most heart-wrenching book that I've ever had to write. This is my most research and mentally exhausting book that I've ever had to write. A lot of 4 a.m. mornings on this thing. But I wrote from the abyss of my soul, really to not just empower our brothers, but also single parent mothers, also our queens, also our individuals who want to take their life to greatness. So you're going to see some chapters in here. I wrote about literacy as key education of mass incarceration. And oftentimes, as we see, the prison system is big business. Big business. They're building prisons based on 2nd and 3rd grade reading scores. And I wrote this book especially to go into the juvenile detention centers and to empower many of our young brothers. The indictment is when our young men are going to prison rather than Princeton. When they're doing 4 years in a jail cell rather than 4 years at Cornell and Yale. When they're doing 4 years in a prison house rather than 4 years at Morehouse. When they're doing 4 years in a correctional facility rather than 4 years at the Eastern Michigan University. That's the indictment. How do we change that paradigm shift? Look at the symptoms. The symptoms of what is going on in our communities are poverty. Dr. King said poverty is the bride of crime. Wherever you see poverty, crime is going to be nearby. Because people don't have access to opportunity. So now what is it? It's survival of the fittest. The symptoms are dilapidated communities. The symptoms are the places where I live in, where blight and trap houses, where people don't have enough for food, clothing, shelter. The symptoms of what are going on in Flint, where people are poisoned, where that is mass genocide of what is going on. People don't have the basic amenity of access to clean water. This ain't India, y'all. These aren't remote parts of the Sahara. These are remote places on the earth. This is still America, and this is what is going on in Flint. I'm really passionate about not just protests, but also policy. Because we've done a lot of protests. But what will we do with policy? And you all are not just the next generation, but you're the now generation. And you're standing on the shoulders of giants, but we need you all engaged more than ever before. We need you to lift up your voice. We are more than just social media hashtags. We are social movement heroes. And one thing that we have to do, greater than any protest, we have the leverage of social media. We have the leverage of being social media activists. Not just you, I know you want to put your selfie on. I know you want to put your makeup, hair, nails done, everything did. G'd up from the feet up, hair wicked, fried, dyed, linked inside. I know it's all about that. But there's more than just that. It's about our life. Every person who purchases this book today, my brother's keeper, I'm telling you, this is a book that is going to empower you and take your life to the next level. As I said, I've been talking about it throughout the media. And, you know, God has just been fortunate enough to bless me. I've been on Steve Harvey, BET, ABC, NBC, all the alphabet soups that you can think of. But to be able to come here to EMU and speak to not just as I said, not just the next generation, but the now generation is what I came to do and empower you. So I want to connect with as many of you as possible. Like I said, if you purchase this book, proceeds go to my mentoring program, which is Voice of Books, empowering our young men through literacy, leadership, and life skills. Please go to my website. It's aconnor.com, CONNOR.com. Like I said, I'm a son. I'm adopted by Ypsilanti, but I'm really a son of the city of Detroit, East Side of Ryder, alumni of Eastern Michigan University. So I want to stay engaged and connected, especially right here to this local community, especially as we look at what is going on from the school system in Detroit to the water system in Flint, Michigan. Our people are thirsty, they are dehydrated, they are parched for peace and justice. And we have to stay engaged, as Dr. King said, in the fierce urgency of now.